too crazy just because a lot of people are accessing the internet. So for any reason that you do have that, just go ahead and just restart the program. But again, QuickBooks should have saved everything. See, as you can see, my purple tabs are still there. So it saved all my settings for me before it crashed. Okay. So anyways, going back to the lecture. So I want to show you how I can change my homepage. As you can see right now, I have a pretty nice homepage, right? I got my my invoices here, my received inventory, and my payments for it, right? So I have that whole section right there. Okay. If I really want to customize my homepage, so what I can do is I can go ahead and let's go here and find inventory. So here's items and inventory. Okay, so if I click this one, I go to company preferences and I say I don't have inventory, right? I'm going to inactivate that. Okay, and then I'm going to click OK. And then it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to save this preference? I said, okay. So what happens is, did you notice my home page disappeared? And let's see what my home page looks like now. Now, I only have bills and to pay bills. You see how I changed that with just a click of a button of activating my inventory? So here, I'm assuming that I don't have inventory. And when you don't have inventory, you're primarily either a service business. Okay? So again, you see how easy it was to just click that, and all of a sudden our homepage just cleans itself out. So again, in order to do to customize your homepage, the only way you would be able to do that is through the interview, the initial interview, or you can toggle it through the edit preferences. Now, of course, knowing exactly which icon belongs to which icon will be dependent on what you actually have on here. So that part was based off of inventory. Okay. So again, how I remember, I was talking about how statement changes and how statements were there. From the desktop view, you can actually get rid of this. You don't need to have this here if it's not part of your business. Maybe you don't need statements. Maybe you don't need these things, okay? So what this is basically when you have customers, you can bill them, and that's what the statement is. So if that's something that you want to get rid of, that is completely fine. Now, if for any reason you do inactivate your inventory, so we as for example, right here, we don't have inventory anymore. What's going to happen is if you don't have that active, it is going to ask you to, you're no longer going to have any of those items available. So in order to have those items available, so anywhere that you click, whether it's your icon bar or any of those things, you don't have those active anymore. So that's why it gets rid of it on your homepage, and you're actually not able to access them. Now, things like statements and these things, if you don't want it on your homepage, that's fine, but you actually do have access to them via your via your customers list. Okay, it's just only inventory and a few other things like if you're dealing with sales, right? If you don't have sales tax, that's not going to show up and it's not going to apply anywhere else. But for inventory parts, that's very important that once you inactivate it, you're not going to have it available anywhere else. So that means you're getting rid of it completely. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and reactivate my inventory part just so then I can go ahead and see that. And I'm going to click OK. OK. And again, my home page closes. And oops, I accidentally clicked reminders. I'm going to go ahead and click my home page. And here it is. It's back to normal with my inventory items. So that is actually how you can change the home page. All right, let's see what else we're going to be looking into now. Okay, so now customizing QuickBooks menus and windows. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna be looking at is the favorites menu. Now, what is the favorites menu? It's similar to when we are looking into let's say, for example, when we open a Google, right, we have a little star at the top. Favorites is usually what you want to tag as a page that you often go to. So this is same thing. It's the same. It applies the same way here as well when you have a favorites at the top. Now, if you look carefully, it should be right. It's supposed to be in between here, but if you don't have it, what you can do is you can go ahead and go to view. Oh, here, favorites, right here. It's in between lists and company. So here, favorites, as you can see, we got nothing so far because this is a brand new file. We don't have anything saved. But if you want to customize it, which you can apply any menu item or any icon or any active window that you frequently use. So for this example here, it tells us that we're going to go to company. We're going to go to favorites and we're going to customize our favorites. Once you do that, you're going to get this little nice window right here. That's going to allow us to add things that we want to customize. So I want to have chart of accounts as one of my items, okay? I also want to have my items list on there because I frequently use that. I also want, let's go ahead and scroll down on what other things that we normally use. So we have items list. We could do, I do frequently use the home page, okay? So I'm going to put that there. And I normally use my bank. Oh, actually, I just saw banking and now I don't know where it went. So I want my home page to be there. We have company snapshot, calendar. Oh, yeah, it'd be nice to have a calendar on there too. And let's see what else I can do. Definitely ask an accountant. I would like that to be as part of my favorites because so then I have quick and easy access to find it. Yeah, that should be good for now. Now, what you can do is when the way that you've put this on the list right here, it's going to show up exactly like this identically. So I don't like it like this. I want to put home page first. So what you can do is you can highlight them and I want to move it up. Okay, I want that to be the first thing I see is going to be my home page. Second thing I want to see is I want to see my calendar. So then I can know what day it is and if I have anything due. And then I want my chart of accounts, items list, and lastly, I want my ask the accountant to be the last thing. Once I figured the order and exactly what I want on there, I'm going to click OK. And what's going to happen is when we go to our favorites menu, the exact 5 things that I listed are going to be here. So here, I can have access to the home page here instead of clicking the icon here on the icon bar. I can go ahead and access it right here on my home page through the favorites because I actually like the home page. It's the easiest way to enter transactions. So in case I exit that out for any reason, I can always come here and find it there. Other things is chart of accounts, again, calendar. So you can manipulate this and put whatever you want on here to however frequently you actually use the favorites. Okay. So any questions about the favorites menu? It's a quick way to get what you want. Okay. No questions? All right.
Not from this end.
All right. Okay, so I showed you a little more for that. Now, next thing it's going to ask you is how to utilize the icon bar or how to customize the icon bar. So again, the icon bar is going to be anything that you see in the blue on the left. Okay, so there are a few ways you can actually customize the icon bar. Okay, so here they show you to customize the icon bar through the View tab. So let's go ahead and look at that. So when I go to View, it should allow you to customize the icon bar right here. All right, so let's go ahead and look at what you can do with the icon bar. Okay, before we customize it. Okay, so here you can either you can add the home on there. You can hide the icon bar. You can left align it or you can put it at the top. So again, the icon bar, so you see it's already on the left side. If I really wanted to, I can make it appear at the top. Just like that. Okay? Now, I do have a comment on this because what is the purpose of having an icon bar when you have the menu bar right here? So that's why I don't like it at the top. Reason being is because if you can click anything on the icon bar and if you just inch up one bit, you'll be able to find everything on the menu bar. So I don't think for the purpose of this, I don't think it's necessary, but I see how some people use it as a preference because then look, now I have a wider space and a wider area to work with, which is completely fine. And I agree. So what you can do is I'm going to go ahead and put it left again. And if you wanted to, if you see this little arrow bar right here, you can just hide it. And you have more space to do whatever you need. So again, and then if you need to access it, just pull it back out. Okay? You can use the search bar if you need to search some kind of window. But in this case, you don't need to do much. You could just hide it like this and utilize the workspace here. Okay? But in this case, we want to customize it. So you can customize the icon bar going to View and clicking Customize Icon Bar. Another way you could do is you can go anywhere on the icon bar and just right click and it will say Customize. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and click that, and what's going to happen is you're going to get a similar window to your favorites window. Okay, and then this is where you can go ahead and search up things that you want to add onto your icon bar. Okay, as you can see, there's little diamond thingies that you can move the stuff in here. So there's a little diamond thing. So for example, I want my home page to be at the very top. I can go ahead and do that. Now, I want to add a few things as well. So with this one, if I click add, it's going to pop up a window. Now, what I can do here is I can add anything that I want to this icon bar. So I think the first thing it's going to ask you is I think I want to do a calendar and okay, so I want to add that. Oh, I think this is it, the calculator. I want the calculator. Okay, so let me go ahead and see what I want to do. So I want to add the calculator. Okay, so I'm going to double tap it and then it's going to pop up right here. Now, when I do that, okay, so I want my home page first. I want my calculator here. I want my income and bill tracker. That's good. I also want my calendar to be along the top. So I'm going to put my calculator. I'm going to put my calendar first, then my calculator, then my income tracker, then my bill tracker. And everything else, I don't really care for. So I'm just going to leave it there. And then once I've figured that out, you can delete the few things that are on there too, like I don't want I don't want my credit card. I don't want my credit card statement. I don't need snapshots. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that and remove it off of my I want to get it removed off my icon bar. I don't want orders either, and I don't really need my company on there either. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all of that. So I'm going to have my 3 vendors. I don't need bank feeds. And yes, everything else could be fine. Now, what you can do too is, like, for example, you can have a space in between each one. I prefer not to, just because, you know, given with all the, you know, the icon bar being such a limited amount of space, I don't think I need the necessary to have a space in there. But it's up to you if it's preference. Okay. So remember, in order to change the way that they are moved on here, it's going to be this little diamond icon. Once you see your cursor turn into a cross with the arrows all around, you're able to move it either up or down, and you can see the line too on where you want to put it. But in this case, I want to leave it right under income tracker. Once I've done that, I'm going to click OK. And what's going to happen is now the icon bar is exactly how I want it. It has the home page at the top, my calendars next, my calculators next, income tracker and bill tracker, and then everyone else is below. Okay? So that's how you can manipulate and change the icon bar. All right? Awesome. Okay, so there we have it. Now, the only thing that you cannot ever change when it or customize when we are dealing with QuickBooks is you are actually not able to change anything that's on the menu bar. Everything here is basically a list of all the things that you can do in regards to QuickBooks. And these are all the transactions that are available to you. So the only thing that you cannot do, the only thing you can do is only manipulate the favorites on the menu bar. But everything else that's on here, you cannot change. You cannot customize, okay? You can only customize your menu bar, your home page, your icon bar, and the favorites menu. Okay, make sure you know that because it is going to be on your exam. Okay, it's going to ask you what can you customize, and home page, icon bar, and the favorites menu bar. You cannot change anything on the actual menu bar. All right. Okay. Any other questions on that? Okay. All right. So we went over customizing icon bar, and let's see what is next. Okay. Customizing items and other lists. Okay. So here, I did touch upon this real quick, but I am going to go into exactly what customizing an item is. Now remember, items is going to be things that you use for selling your products. It's also going to include your sales tax, and it's also going to include anything that is other, like that doesn't have to do technically part of your business. So for example, if you have a non-inventory part, it's something that you sell, but it's not something that you keep track of. So again, this page here, let me see what page this is. This is page 212. I want you to make sure that you guys understand this list right here. So it's already bolded for you. And basically what this is it's going to be your item type, okay? So I want you to understand each and every single one of these items, because it is going to be very important when you start creating your items. And when you create your items, you need to understand how they are used in QuickBooks and how they affect your accounts. So again, you're going to see things like inventory parts, okay? You're going to see things like sales tax. You're going to see things like payment items. You're going to see discount items, okay? So anything like that, group items even. You're going to be seeing all of this, and you need to understand each and every single one when we actually create these items. So that is actually what the next step is going to be. Is going to be creating our items. Now, there are a few ways to get to the items list. Okay? And in this case, our book tells us to go to our lists, and then go ahead and so we're going to go to lists at the top, and we're going to go find our items list. So here it is right here. Now, if we customize our icon bar, you can also have items list there. Okay? It's not a preset one, but if you were to customize it, you can create the items list there. You can also create the items list on your favorite page if you customize it. And lastly, on your home page, if you go ahead and look under company, which is on the top right, you have items and services. So when I click this, okay, a similar chart of accounts is going to pop up, okay? Similar, not exactly, but it's similar, and it's going to be identical to exactly how it's organized. It's going to be organized based on what kind of item it is. It's going to be categorized by the item type, and it's going to also give you the account number that it's associated with. Okay, and as well as also going to give you a little account balance on the right side. Okay, and then here's a little just description of what each item is. So in this case, we are just looking into trying to add stuff to our item list. And I'm sorry if you can hear that. So there are a few things that you can do when we're adding things to the item list. You can right click and enter a new one. Okay, that's one way. And then the second way is going to be all the way at the bottom. If you pull your screen and you maximize the page. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of my icon bar so you can see it a little better. Down at the bottom, you're going to have items. You're going to see this little drop tab. Press that, and it will allow you to either add, change, delete, create, anything that you want. And in this case, I want a new item. Okay. So again, then you're gonna get this little window here. Oh, whoops! I hit the whole thing. So here we're gonna have the window here, and it's going to ask you anything that you are doing when you're creating a new item. So let's go ahead and look at our book and see what our first example is. So first we're going to create a service item. Okay? So if you provide services, you need to create an item for it. And in this case, we're going to create our first item, and it's going to be let's go look at the window down here. Okay, so the item that we're going to be creating is going to be called, let me see. So it's a service item. Okay, so here we recognize that we need to change it and select that it's a service item. The item is going to be called photo session. Okay, and is it going to be a sub item? I believe they say no. And then it's going to ask you a few questions on what is it? Are you going to charge tax for it? What is the sales price for it? And etc. So let's go ahead and dive into exactly how to create a sales item. So here, we're going to go up to the top. And okay, so if we were to click this drop down menu, here you're going to get the different item types that you can have. And in this case, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 10 item types. Okay, and again, those all are listed on page 212 and /13. Okay, so again, making sure that you understand what each part does and how it affects your accounts. So in this case, I have a service. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and validate that I have a service. Okay, what do you want to call this item name? In this case, they wanted me to call this photo shoot. Oh, photo session, I think. Okay. Okay. Then it's going to ask you, is this service using assembly or is permitted by a subcontractor? Sub item of. Okay, so I believe you do not tap that because we will not be using a subcontractor for this specific uh, entry. Let me see. Did I select it? Okay. So it looks like I did not select it, but I need to make sure that I fill out the rest of the form. So here it says, what is the rate? What are you going to charge that? And I'm going to charge them $95 for that. And then do we have a tax code? And it's going to be just regular tax. And then what account we're going to be naming that after? We're going to be using account called services. So let me go ahead and fill that in. So no, we do not need to create this as a non-inventory item. Now, what happens if I do that? If I do click that, it's going to expand. And what this is going to say is, well, if you're going to use it as a non-inventory item, you need to associate a cost with it. Like, what does it cost to provide the service? But in this case, we don't need that. Okay. For description, go ahead and fill in 1 hour of photo session. Okay. And then we need to make sure that we have the rate. So we know that it's going to be $95. Sales tax code is tax. And then what account are we associating with it? Okay. So we have a few ways you can search up this. You can either drop down the menu and look for it. Here it's at the very top. Or if I don't know and I just know that I want it to be in services, you just type in the first few letters and then look. It's going to populate right here. And I want services. Okay? And then I'm going to click OK. Now, once you've done that, the very first thing you're going to see is it's going to be it should be highlighted by it should be actually, photo session right here is highlighted. Okay, and this is what you've just entered in, and it's a service. Okay. All right, let's see what the next one is. The next one is subcontractor services. So again, I'm going to have you guys read upon this one. Let me see if we're good on time, actually. Okay, so actually, let's go ahead and do it. So subcontractor services. So this is basically what I was talking about when you have an independent contractor, right? If you're going to pay someone to do a service, you need to also you need to add their cost to what it's going to cost you for that service, so you can build upon a sales price that includes the and covers the cost in order to provide that service. So here we're going to go, we're going to create another item, right? And we're going to create this item with a sub item, okay? And we're going to call it video photographer, okay? And let's verify what kind of item we're going to create it as, and we're creating it as a service item, all right? And then we're going to make sure that we have a sub account or a sub item, and we're going to use the photographer. All right. So, okay, and then we're going to be using the we're going to also activate selecting the box allows to use the same stuff. Okay, so again, let's look at this window just to verify that what we are doing is going to be correct. So here we actually created the sub item or the subcontractor portion. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this on an example here. So here we're going to create another item, okay? So I'm going to right click and I'm going to right click and I'm going to add new. Okay, so again, here's that same window. Again, we are creating a service item. And this time, we're going to name it this as a video photographer. All right, and we're going to create that as a sub item. And what that sub item is going to be, photographer. We need oopsies, not photo session. We're going to be using a photographer. So here, I'm going to ensure that it's a photographer that we're going to be using because he is sub item. Okay, so it's going to fall under him in order to do this video photographer. I think it's photography. That's fine. Video photographer service. Okay, and then again, we are going to select that this item is used as an assembly item. Okay, reason being is because we need to have this part in order to do this part. We need to have a photographer in order to create our services. So I'm going to go ahead and tap that window. And again, when we have that, we're going to associate a cost in order to provide a service. So in this case, let's go ahead and look in our book and see how much it's going to cost us to have this photographer. Okay. So here it says that it's going to cost us $95 and we're going to try to charge them $125. Okay. Here we have the, we're going to have, I can't read that account. The account says, it says, let's go ahead and look at it again. So here it's going to cost us $95 just to have the photographer. Okay. And here, I think that says subcontractor expense, if I'm not wrong. And then we're going to use it as Wong and Sun Vision. Okay, so that's our preferred vendor for this one. Okay, so this is our independent contractor right here. So there, it's going to cost us to use them. It's going to cost us $95. So we're going to charge our customers $125 first, and then we're going to make sure that our tax is going to be service, and we're going to indicate that our account is going to be services. So again, it's going to cost us $95 just to get one of the Wang and Sun people to come. So again, this is for subcontractor. Here we have subcontractor services. Okay, so here. And then our preferred vendor is going to be Wang and Sun Vision. All right. Here, we're going to charge them $125 because we need to make sure that we make a profit, but also we pay off this cost. So, yes, so we're going to charge them a little more for that service. And here I put service, and this is going to be account that we're going to be utilizing is going to be services. Okay? All right, and we're going to click OK. So now we created another item. So when we bill our customers, this is pretty much for either billing our vendors or billing our customers, okay? For this special one, because we're offering a video photography session for our customers, when we bill them, you're going to select this line, this item, to charge the customers $125, okay? So when we move on to the next chapter, which is going to be looking at our vendors, we're going to see how all these items will apply. And it's important that you create your item list a little bit beforehand, so you guys can recognize what kind of things that we need in order to build our company. So it's good to have a set of item lists. Now, what you can do is when we show you tomorrow, what you can do is if you don't have an item, you can do a quick add. And a quick add is just you're going to put the item in, and then you can edit the item later on. Okay? So let's see what's going on time. Okay, good. So that's how you create items, service items. I think I'm going to go over one more part. I definitely wanted to go over an inventory item. So here is an inventory item part. Okay, so so I'm going to create an inventory part. This is non-inventory. I want just regular inventory. Okay. And other charge items. So again, I think I'm going to have you guys probably read this part just because non-inventory parts is kind of hard to explain, and we actually go over it when we deal with our section for inventory, which is chapter 8. So this is going to be, we'll be looking into this in a couple chapters from now. So it's better if we just go over that. So what a non-inventory part is, I will explain that part at least, so you guys are aware of it. So a non-inventory part is a part that you use, that you sell. But the difference between a regular inventory part and a non-inventory part is that with the inventory part, you're constantly keeping track of it. Okay? You're constantly keeping track of it, whereas non-inventory part, you're not really keeping track of it as much as you would for a regular one. So in my understanding of this is how I can help you guys understand it as well, is an inventory part is something that you frequently are going to be selling. It's your main core of your business. Where a non-inventory part, it serves as some function as part of your sales, but it's not something that you sell often. It's not your main core of your business. It's just something that you sell on the side. It can also be, for a non-inventory part, it can also be part of when you establish as yourself as a manufacturing company. It could be things that you assemble together to create an overall part. So that's what a non-inventory part is. And again, we will actually be looking into this when we deal with our inventory section. Now here is going to be other charges items. So again, if you notice that when we look into creating our item, so let me go ahead and create a new item. I'm in the wrong one. Create invoices item. I want new. So again, when we're looking at the 10 things that we can categorize our items is, you can have them either be an actual part. It could be charges that you may, let's say you want to bill a customer and for some reason they paid late. You can charge them for that. Okay. You can create a subtotal. You could create a group item. So for those that when you want to do a special deal where it comes with an item and a service, you can create items like that. Okay. If you want to do a discount, if you want to do payments, this is also where you can also create your sales tax. So, yeah, so make sure that you just understand the difference between those 10 items and how you can want to categorize your items is important. Okay, so in this one, I want to create an other charge. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this example of what this other charge is. Okay, so I'm going to go to create a new item. So select other charges, and in this one, we're going to click next to save the item. Okay, hold on. Type in, drop down list, fill in the details from the items below. Okay, so let's go ahead and look here. So I'm going to create a separate other charge for shipping. Okay, and it says shipping and handling. All right, and I'm going to charge for the amount of, I cannot see that. I think it says $8.99, $8.95, and it's service charge. Okay, and as you can see, we're not going to be utilizing it as a non-inventory part. So we're only focusing on this part. So here, I'm going to create an additional charge account. So when I bill my customers, I can go ahead and tack on this item, and it's going to automatically fill in for us. Okay. Shipping and handling. And we're going to charge $8.95 for shipping, and it's going to be a service. Okay, I forgot to look at what account number it's going to be, and we're going to use it as services. Okay, now if we had a shipping company that we use, this is where we're going to enter it in here, so we can judge upon how much is it going to cost us to use a delivery service, and how much we're actually going to charge our customers because we need to cover our cost. So in this case, I'm done here. I'm going to mail it out via, I don't know, UPS or something like that. So I'm charging them an additional $8.95 so I can ship it from their store and then have it sent out. So I'm going to click OK. And here it is. It pops up right here. Okay. So any questions about creating icons and what they do? Again, it will make a lot more sense when we dive into dealing with our vendors and when we're actually purchasing inventory. So that's tomorrow. And then when we actually sell our products or sell our services, all of these items are going to make a lot more sense on to why we need to have them in order to do our business. Okay? Any questions about this? so I'm going to go ahead and scroll a little further down and then see what else I need to show you. Okay, so the next thing is going to be price leveling, okay? Now, unfortunately, I am unable to show you because if you actually read up what price leveling does, is it's actually only available to QuickBooks Premier and QuickBooks Enterprise. Okay, so here it says it right here. It's only available to Premier and above. Okay, so Premier and Enterprise would be the only ones that are actually able to toggle this price level. So unfortunately, I'm actually currently using QuickBooks Pro. So this is definitely something you're going to have to read upon on your own. Again, price levels is just dealing with, if you're dealing with people that are out of state, you can actually charge them up a higher price because of interstate laws. Okay, so that's basically what that is, or based on a county. So for example, I'm actually from Orange County, and if you go up a couple streets, it's LA County, and their taxes are way higher. So that is what price level does for you. It actually determines like what you can charge and how you can charge it. Okay, so go ahead and read up on that. Okay, so we're going to skip price level here. All right, let me see. Okay, so we are good on some time. Okay. Okay, so the next part that we're going to be looking is called custom fields. Now, the great thing about QuickBooks is it allows you to enter in data that you want to create, whether you're collecting data from your customers, you're creating information about your employees, or creating information for just your services itself. Okay, so what custom fields is, it's basically anything that you want to put in as your own personal or for your company use for gathering more data. Okay, and I'm going to show you an example of exactly how and what that is. So again, when we're looking at custom fields, okay, so there is a rule, okay, and I'm going to explain it to you first. No, I'm going to tell you first and explain it afterwards, okay? So if you read, it's going to tell you one brief example, but I'm going to let you know this. So the rule for custom fields is it's going to be 15, 7, and 5, okay? 15 is the maximum, and that's as much as custom fields as you can create. Okay? You can't go beyond 15. It will not allow you to do that. Okay? So you only have 15 custom fields. 7 is going to be dealing with how many fields you can use for people. So if it's a vendor, a customer, or employee, you can only have up to 7 custom fields about those particular people. Okay? Now you're going to be like flag. You're going to be, hold up. You said I can only have 15. But if I can create 7 for each of my customers and my employees and my vendors, then I have 21 fields. No, it doesn't work that way. When I say you can only have up to 7 custom fields is, out of the 15 that you use, if I create all of them to be for only my vendors, then I only have 8 fields left to use for the rest of the other people. Okay? So it's definitely very, very recommended that you, when deciding on what kind of custom field that you want to create, you want to see if that can apply to both vendor, customer, and employee. Okay, because again, you're limited to how many custom fields you can actually have. Now, where does the 5 come to play? 5 is for all your items and anything else that you need to use. So, for example, if you have a when we create our chart of accounts, you're only allowed to have 5 accounts, correct? You only have 5 types. So there's 5 right there. But underneath that, you can have 5 main accounts. Okay, some of them are given to you, but you can only have 5 underneath it. And again, some of them are given to you, so you don't need to customize anything. But from there, if you want to build on another set of sub accounts, that's where it's going to start utilizing that space. So that's what 5 is. Okay, so 5 is customizing your chart of accounts. If you want main accounts, okay, again, you're given those. But when you create your sub accounts, that's when it starts filling in and start utilizing your custom fields. So you want to be careful of that. Now, what you can do is you can create items or accounts with just regular names, right? It doesn't matter how many names you create, but if you're going to create an actual sub account, so for example, I created a sub account called photographer. That is already utilizing one of my custom fields. Okay, so make sure that you are careful on creating those kind of things. Okay, so again, we're going to go ahead and dive in for an example. So how do you add custom fields? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and borrow one of my vendors just to give you a quick show on what custom fields does for you. Again, we're going to be doing this again tomorrow when we look into our vendors. But I'm going to go ahead and get out of this so I can just kind of familiarize yourselves, you guys, with the custom fields. So I'm going to go ahead and go into vendors. And I'm going to create a new, I'm not create a new vendor. I'm going to go ahead and look at one of our existing vendors. So here we have Ace Supply. I'm going to click that. I'm going to double click it, and it's going to give me the window where I can actually edit the information. Okay. So if I go all the way down, I have an additional info. Okay. From here, I have right here, I already have a vendor type. Okay. And I also have a county. This right here is a custom field because this is a preset one that QuickBooks created, and this is when you read your book, what county does for you. So if this vendor belongs to a specific county, then you can go ahead and fill that custom field in. Now what you're going to do is when you go all the way down here, you're going to see detailed, defined fields. When you click this, this is where your custom fields window will pop up. This is where you can create anything about your vendor, and you can also add this. So that, again, you're only limited to 15 items. And and remember, you want to create something that can apply to either both your for all customers, vendors, and employees. Okay, so you have only 15 fields for that. So I want to create one where I don't use county. Instead, I want to create one where I can apply, let's say, for example, if I'm talking to my vendors, I would want to know when their business started, because great thing about that, it's a great conversational starter. So business date, okay? Other things, maybe if I really want to get personal, I want to know if they have a pet, okay? So I can say pet name, okay? And then maybe I want to be a little more intimate and actually get to know if they have a spouse. And if they do, I want to know the spouse's name. Okay? So, when you go to business meetings, you're like, oh, how's your wife? Or how's your husband, right? It'd be really useful for you because it will heighten up your relationship. But okay, so for example, I can apply business dates. I can apply that to only vendors. Oopsies, I hit the wrong one. I can only apply that to vendors, okay? Because your customers are not going to have a business date. Your employees work for you. So, is that necessary information for either your customer or your employee? Now, if I wanted to learn about pet's name, that can apply to all, right? If I have a customer, I can be like, hey, how's your dog? I don't know. Jingles. Okay, how's your dog Jingles, right? If you have your customer. Or if you're an employee. Oh, I heard that your dog went into surgery. Your dog Jasmine. Is she doing okay? So that's a good thing to create relationship with your employees as well. This can also apply to all of these because obviously if you have employees, right? When we go into the employees, you're going to ask them, are they married? So it'd be really nice if you knew if they were married. You could talk about their spouses. Same thing with your vendors. Same thing with your customers. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and click OK, and then I'm gonna say don't ask me again, and I'm gonna click OK. So what's gonna happen is now our vendor has created all these extra things that I wanted to add as part of additional information for a vendor. So here I have the county, here I have the business date, and here I have a pet name in case they have one, and here I have the spouse's name. So I can fill in all this information, but I'm not going to do it for today. I just wanted to show you what they are because when we move into tomorrow, we'll get a better broad and example of how to create as well as utilize the custom fields. So I'm going to go ahead and click cancel. All right. Okay. Any questions as far as what I just showed you so far? Okay, no?
So, Lynn, I have a question.
Yes.
So, just in case we want to practice,
Mm-hmm.
are we able to go into the files on our own?
Yes. So, I just posted, I can post it again because it's probably like buried down on the Google Classroom. You are able to, but right now, if you have your book, correct? You
Yes,
sh-
I have.
if you go all the way to the very last page, you should see a little card. It's like a cardstock card.
Mm-hmm.
That is your free 5-month trial for QuickBooks.
Oh,
Okay?
so for now, just to clarify, for now, we are just able to look at the files when we go along with what you present,
That
right?
is that is correct.
Okay.
But for those who have not ever used QuickBooks, my recommendation for you is I want you to read the book first, watch me show you how to do it, and
Mm-hmm.
then download the program after the class is over. Download the
Oh,
program and practice on your own. Reason
okay.
being, reason being is because it can be hard if you've never been exposed to this. It can be hard and difficult for you to navigate, look at this, and then if something goes on, let's say you accidentally click enter for some reason, I wouldn't be able to help you on the other end because I wouldn't know what you're doing.
Okay. Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. And on top of that, I still also have to talk with Casey on on how students are able to put the program onto your computer. Okay.
Okay.
So as a recommendation, I do recommend, because this class is actually a month long. So if you're not, if you're still like new to it, you don't want to waste your first month already. You want to make sure that you're completely ready. You understand. We've went through the book through it for one time first, and then do it on your own. And I did post a link on where you can download the exact files. Now, what I can do is I can upload it onto the Google Classroom. I just, as far as my best knowledge, downloading it is probably one of the biggest issues, because these files, again, they're shrunken to small, but however, it takes forever to download and upload. So I can have it readily available for you guys, but yeah. But as far as that, yes. Any other questions?
Nope.
Okay. So here, I think this is the last section in the book. If I'm not mistaken, let me see. I believe it is. Yeah, review questions. Yeah, it's already going to, this is the last section of the book. So I just want to quickly go over it real quick. And then we'll go over the review questions. And then if we have some time, let me see, it's right now, it's 10:30. So I'm going to see how far I get through this. If I do not make it in time, let's say it's like close to 11:15, what I'm going to have you guys do is I'm going to let you guys go early. But if we actually have time at the end of the day, I would want to try to go through over one practice problem with you guys from the book. Okay? So again, just letting you know that because we started off so late, I do want to see what you guys want to do. I want to go over this real quick. So this may take anywhere up to 10 to 15 minutes with the review questions. So you guys let me know right as of right now. Do you guys want to take a break, or do you guys want to push through and I can let you go as early as 11:30?
Push through, I think.
Okay. Yeah, because we actually took after 20 minutes diving into the chapter, my computer froze, so I do apologize that. But yes. So we got one person saying to push through. Anybody else?
Keep going.
Keep going.
Keep
Keep
going.
going.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay, perfect. So now the next part that we're going to go over is going to be modifying sales forms and templates. Okay, so this is also a fun one, especially when you're customizing your actual templates. So what is a template? So when we have sales receipts and when we start billing our customers and whatnot, we can actually personalize our statements so it's actually formatted to our company. Now, of course, if we just look at a standardized way of what a template looks like, so for example, if I want to create a statement for my customers, right, it's just going to have the same thing. What is your balance? What is your activity? What is the date? When is it due? So you're going to have those typical things. But what this does is when we get to modify our forms, we get to customize it in a way where we can add our logo, we can change the font, we can change the size, we can change exactly how it will look like on when we print out a piece of paper. So it's going to show us like how we want to how we want the actual bill to look like. So again, here we're going to go ahead and look here under modifying sales. So what we're going to do is we can go select lists and on the menu bar and then select templates used. Okay, so let's go ahead and check that out. So here I'm going to go ahead and close my vendor list, or my vendor center. And I'm going to go to lists, okay? And it says that I can view templates. So here, template, okay? So then here, you're going to see that there's a whole bunch of preset templates that are already created and made for this for QuickBooks. So and it's actually these templates are created based on what what people would use typically for their business. So here they have an attorney slip invoice, right? They have Intuit's packing slips. Here we have product invoices. So you can see a bunch of them as far as what they have preset templates for. So again, these are what they've set for us. And what we can do is we can either create a new template from scratch, or we can modify an existing one and just change the name of it. And when we modify it, it's going to be our template. Now, what's going to happen is you never want to start from scratch, generally, just because if you don't know what you're doing, or you don't have an idea of what you want to include, it would be best to use a preset template that's already created and just customize it that way. So I believe that's what it's going to be asked of us here, is to open up a preset template, and we're going to customize it that way. Okay. So here it's going to ask us to select the Intuit Services invoice, okay? And then once we select that, we're going to select templates. Then select templates menu, button, and select duplicate. Okay, so we're going to use a preset one, but instead of creating a complete new one, we're going to take one that's already created, and we're going to create a duplicate. And what we're going to do is we're going to modify that duplicate, and click OK. Select invoice on the select template. So we're going to create one, and we're going to, okay, I guess we're not going to name it, which is weird. Well, I think if I duplicate mine, I'm going to go ahead and name it, I don't know, Academy Photography, because that's what the business is called. Okay, so I'm going to go to Intuit, what was it? Intuit invoices. Is it service? I think it's service. Select
Intuit service invoice.
Okay, so this one. Okay, perfect. So we select that, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and go down to the bottom, and I'm gonna use this invoice to create another one. So I'm gonna make a duplicate. Okay. So now it's going to ask me, well, do I want it an invoice or a credit card memo? And I want it to be an invoice. And I'm going to click OK. So then it's going to create a second one right here, but it's actually going to say copy. And I'm going to double click it, and then this window is going to pop up. So this is what I want to create as far as the template. I want to change however I want to make it look like. So again, here they give you a little preview of what the template will look like, okay? So this is where we can customize fonts. We can customize what windows we want to have appear on there, as well as we can customize the top part. So here, select the template. So let's go ahead and see what it's going to ask us. So again, if we want to do logos or fonts, if you want to use a logo, if you select this, it's going to ask you, well, where do you want the logo to be? And I don't think I have one on the files, but I'm just gonna not use a logo. And then it's gonna say select color scheme. Again, you can choose whatever color you are. Most companies would choose some kind of color scheme for that represents their company. So I'm gonna say my company, I like maroon. Maroon sounds nice. So it's gonna appear as maroon when you print, obviously, but not on here. It's not gonna display. So yes. And then, do I need to change the font for the title? And if you do, go for it. Okay, so I'm gonna change the font. Not really. I don't want to change the font. I think the font looks just fine. As far as that, I mean, yeah, I think the font looks fine, but I think I might change it actually for the title. I'm gonna change the font, and then it's gonna ask you what kind of font you want. I think I want it to be I like Century Gothic, but let me see if they have that. Century Gothic, perfect. I want it to be Century Gothic, and I'm gonna click OK. And if you look very, very, very carefully in your little preview thing, it's gonna change it to Century Gothic. Okay. And then you can change everything. You can change the date if you want to change the font for that. But for most cases, if you want to change the font, you can change it here. Okay. Now, company name. Okay, so company and transaction information. Okay, yes, I need to include the company name. Yes, I need to include the company address. Do I need to include the fax number? Probably not. Am I going to include a phone number? I mean, I guess I could. So basically, anything that you want to include as far as what's inside, you can customize it through here by selecting here what you want to put into the invoice. So again, you can create it that way here. All right. Same thing as, let's say there's a few things that I don't need. So you can actually manage the template here. And if you don't need, for example, I don't need to have a build to. I mean, that's just an example. I don't need the build to box. I can just go ahead and customize it through here. And again, yes. So this is for our information, what you want to include. And then, do you need a print status? You can. And what you're going to do is, once you've created that complete thing, you can go ahead and save this template. Okay, let me maximize my screen real quick, because I can't. There you go. Okay, so here at the bottom, you have additional customization. Or customizing. So this is where I can go ahead and click this, and now it's going to go really in depth, and this is where I can either add, subtract, whatever I want to do. I can add whatever I want here as far as the fields. I'm going to click OK, and it's going to come back to the same window, and I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Now you can change the layout as well. Let's say I don't like that layout design. It's ugly. I want it to look like this one. Or I want to look at like this one. Or I want it to look like this one. You can change it as much as you want. Okay? But I'm going to go for the standard one right here. And I'm going to click OK. Then you're going to go back at this window. Okay? And then once I've done that, I'm going to click OK. So here I still have it as this. I'm going to I'm going to edit it because I need to change the name of it. Whoops. against. Oh shoot, I completely shrunk the whole thing. So this is what it looks like when you are when you double click it. It's going to show you an example of what it looks like. Okay, it's down here. Let me see. I'm going to just click OK. All right. So that's how you customize your sales forms and whatnot. All right. And yeah, I don't know why I can't change the title of it or name it. Yeah, I know. I don't know why I can't change the name of it, but you should be able to when you edit the when you're actually editing the thing. I don't know where I can find the title for it. Okay. Oh shoot, here we go again. I clicked the top part. Okay, so yeah. When we find out how we can edit the actual title for it, then yes, then I can go ahead and let you guys know about that. All right, so let's see if we're good on time. So it's 10:45 now. All right. So you can customize anywhere up to your sales receipts. You can also edit your bills that you receive. You can also edit any invoices that you send out to your vendors. So that's really cool that you could do that. You can also edit how your reports and your statements are going to be looking at. So again, when you at the end of the year or what end of the period, you're able to do custom. You're able to create statements, and what you can do therefore is you can go ahead and design it how you want to see it. Just like same thing. You can change the color scheme, put your company logo on there, so you can create and customize pretty much everything there. Okay. The only thing you absolutely cannot ever change, okay, so make sure you guys know this, is checks. Okay, if you're writing a check is standardized and uniform everywhere, because you need to you need to make sure that all checks are readable, so so they're valid, so they can be easily transferable. Okay, you can't customize a check because it needs those 5 things. It needs to have a date, it needs to have the payee person, it needs the payee amount, your signature, and your account number. Okay, those things have to be on there. And if you customize it and you forget something like that, that's where the bank won't even accept it. You can't order it. So be aware that checks, every time you write a check, that is the reason why you are unable to create it. Okay, that one is a standardized template. There's only one universal template, and you cannot change it. Okay, and I think if you read through this, it should tell you at the very beginning when you customize your statements and whatnot. Okay, it should tell you right here. All right, so that's the end of this chapter. So let's go ahead and go over the review questions for today, and then we could go ahead and dive in at least maybe one of the problems for this chapter. Okay, so review questions, okay? So let's get started. Number 1, okay? You can create custom fields for A, customers, B, templates, C, vendors, or D, both A and C.
D.
D is correct, right? You cannot create custom fields for templates. Templates, it's our there's only so much you can choose from. You can't create something out of thin air. All right, good. A and B is correct. A and C is correct. So D. All right. Number two asks, what are the 2 types of preferences? Is it A, user and company, or is it B, user and accountant? Is it C, favorite and general preferences, or is it D, income and expense preferences?
A.
A.
Correct.
A.
B, C, and D. B has user, but B, C, and D. No, we didn't even look at any of these. So, A is the correct answer. Yes, there's only user preferences and company preferences. All right. Number 3. If you don't see the favorites menu in your menu bar, you can turn it on through. You can turn it on in the A, customize templates window, B, customize icon bar window, C, view menu, or D, Windows menu.
C.
The correct answer is C. That is right. Okay, so again, I think I touched upon it earlier this morning. If you do not see your, favorites, for some reason it didn't appear when you opened up your QuickBooks, you actually can see it through view. You can activate it through view. Okay, and it should be see favorites menu, right? You can toggle it right here. Okay, let's say I don't want my favorites menu. See, now it disappeared. But in this case, yes, you can toggle it through here. All right. Question number, what are we on? 4?
4.
Okay, so which of the following is not an available template type? Or I'm sorry, available template type in QuickBooks?
C.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so again, when we look at our list of templates, which is right here, you could see every single type of a template, but you're not going to see checks because checks is going to be one of those things that you cannot ever customize at all. So that's correct. All right, lastly, number 5, if you pay sales tax to more than one person, okay, you should use which of the following item types? A, sales tax group, B, group, C, inventory assembly, or D, subtotal. Okay, this is going to be more along in your readings. It is not group. Okay, group can be anything. Let's say if you create a package, you can create a product and a service for a group. Okay, so this one's kind of straightforward, kind of not. The key word is if you pay sales tax, then it's obvious.
Okay.
You're gonna choose sales tax group. Yes, okay. So when we dive into actually I think it's chapter 2, when we utilize sales tax, you're going to see that we're going to create a group item for sales tax, and there's actually a toggle place on which place you're actually going to make payments to. So this is kind of like chapter 2 kind of question. but it's okay. They threw it in here. Okay. So good job, everybody. It is now 11:53. Let's see if we can try to get through. Let me see. I don't want to do. I'm trying to find a question that's short. So this one has 5 questions and this one has 5 questions. Okay, so they're both fairly the same question. So I'm going to go ahead and try to see how far we can get with this one. And then you guys are free to go at 11:30. Okay, just as promised. So I'm going to go ahead and file, close out my company file, and my home page window should pop up. And I'm going to go to, again, open a portable file. So again, I'm going to go find where I located. I'm going to locate where I put my files. So documents. Okay, and it was customizing. Oopsies, I wait. Okay, so customizing 18, not that one. Customizing 18 problem 1. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and click that, and I need to save it somewhere. And I'm going to save it into documents, because I have a specific folder for it. So in here, QuickBooks Class, portable file, oopsies. Actually, oh wait. Okay, yeah, AM QuickBooks Class. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and then wait till it converts. Okay. So again, everything in the book that you see is going to be Sleater 18. Oh no, I think, do I have my caps on? No. Okay, let's do it again. Capital SLEETER 18. There you go. And it's going to ask me to update the file. Hopefully it's a quick update. Okay. Okay, perfect. All right, so okay, so looking at the book, it first asks us to create new items. Okay, so everything that we learned from today, how do we do that? how do we create a new item? Anybody. How do we create a new item?
You'd go to view and then select the item list, correct? And then create new.
Yes, view. And then we go to items list. Actually, no, it's not view.
Oh, list, not view, sorry, list.
Item list, that's correct. And then how do we create a new one?
Then you go to item.
You can go to items at the bottom and you got new. What's a second way?
You can right click on the bottom part of the page.
Good. Right here. New. Perfect. All right. So let's go ahead and look at our list here. So we're going to be creating a new item for so we're going to create a new item for service. Okay. The item name or / number is going to be specialist. Okay, cool. And then description is going to be specialist consultant on photography services. Okay. So let's go ahead and create that. So we're already here on service. Okay. We're going to name it, what are we going to name it? We're going to name it specialist. Okay. Specialist. All right. And in the description, we're going to write specialist consultant on photography services. Oops, I think I have 2 I's in there. Okay, cool. Now let's see, how much are we going to be charging and if this person has a double thing or not. Okay, so no, we don't need to, it's not an assembly item. So here we're gonna charge them $125 for service, and we're going to put it in the account service. So $125. Tax is going to be service, and the account is going to be service. And then we click OK. So there we created a new account. Yay. Let's see what question number 2 says. Now it says create a new payment term. Oh, I think I forgot to do that. Payment terms. Payment terms called it net 28 customers who have these terms should pay within 4 weeks. Okay, so 28 days. And are not offered a discount to the service. Okay, so I think I skipped this part in the book somewhere, but we're going to be customizing our terms. So how do you do that? Well, we're going to go all the way up to the top. We're going to go to lists. And what you're going to find here is you're going to find class list, payroll, fixed items list. Hold on. Price level, sales tax, payroll. Okay, no. Chart name list, customers list, templates. It should be here. Oh, it says customers and no, that's not it. It's not a sales tax either. Hold on, let me look in the book.
It should be customer and vendor profile list and then terms list.
Is it? Okay, so let me see. Customers. I figured it would be under there too. Hold on, let me see. Customers and preferred list. So we got
And then
sales.
terms list.
Yes. Okay. See, here you go. Perfect terms list. Okay. So here we can create any kind of terms that we want to do. So this is something I forgot to mention, but we will actually be looking into this when we deal with our vendors or via our customers, right? Our vendors can give us terms. So gives us the time to pay. So what terms is, if you guys are unfamiliar what terms are, terms is basically it's an agreement that we have when we're, especially when we owe people money. Okay, so it usually is described as a percentage first if they give us a discount. And what it means is the first number is going to be the discount period. So oftentimes a lot of, if you're a new person, they will give you like a generous discount. They'll say, okay, how about I give you 5% if you pay within the first 15 days. If you don't, then you need to pay me in full by 30 days. Okay, so that's why it's here. It's right here, for example, this is 10%, 10 net 30. So this means I'll give you 2% if you pay within the first 10 days. But if not, then you need to pay in full in 30. Okay, that's how I break it down. Now, I believe it says that you are going to create a terms. So again, you're going to go down here and you're going to create new. So what's going to ask you is, well, what do you want to call this term? So terms is just going to be net 28. Reason being is because we're not going to give them any special discounts for this. Okay, and we're going to make it a standard standard net, and it's going to be due in 28 days. Okay, so again, so then again, this is what's going to happen. Discount in period within, we're not giving any discount, so it's just going to be called net 28, and we're going to click OK. So here we have net 28. Now again, when we look into creating our vendors, this will make a lot more sense to what these are, okay? But it's pretty straightforward. Same thing is you just got to go here, you're going to go down to the bottom and create new, or you can right click and you can create new, okay? It's, yes. All right. We're done with question number 2 now. So let's see what question 3 asks now. Question 3 is going to ask us to enter the following invoice. Okay, so we're actually going to create an invoice. Okay, we're going to create an invoice. All right, so again, this is a little more things that are going to be going along the lines. So let's go ahead and do what it asks and create an invoice. So where do we see to create an invoice? Okay, so here, because we're going to create an invoice, it's going to be dealing with our customers. So here we have create an invoice right here. I'm going to click that and a window is going to pop up. So this is a form and we're going to fill out this form. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what details I need to put in here. I need to create this form. Our customer is going to be Tim Fang. Okay, his class is going to be San Jose. So again, we will talk about classes later. The date is going to be February 24th, 2019. Because, so what happens is, unfortunately, QuickBooks, it can go back that date. However, generally, it won't let you go back as far as that. Usually, it won't let you enter it in because it's so overdue. So I'm going to go ahead and vamp this up, and I'm going to create it as February 24th of 2020. invoice number is going to be 2020-106, and terms is going to be net 28. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill that information in. So again, our customer is going to be Tim. I'm just going to go ahead and write Tim, and his name should pop up right here, Fang. All right. His class is San Jose. Oh no, it froze on me. Okay, well, it froze on me again, so let me go ahead and, let me see. Okay, I am going to pause real quick. Okay, let me just verify that it is running. Okay, so now again, we're going to continue again. So I do apologize for that. So we're going to create our invoice. Okay, so here, again, we're dealing with Tim Fang. So if I were to type in Tim Fang or Tim, it would just automatically populate for you. We are dealing with a San Jose class. So again, I will explain class later on. And we need to change the date. Since I said that QuickBooks doesn't actually validate anything that happened a year ago, I'm going to go ahead and say, not July. I'm going to go ahead and say it was due February, 24th of this year. So, and then the invoice is going to be 2020-106. Okay. And let's go see what else information I need to put in here. So I did do terms of net 28. Santa Clara is our tax. And he got 4 specialists. Okay. All right. So, PO number, we don't have a PO number. Now that we remember when we entered our net 28, here it is. Okay. And then we don't need to deal with any of this. So again, every time we type in our vendor or our customer, it's going to automatically populate all this information for you. So you don't need to type it in. So that's great about QuickBooks. So here we want to add 4. Now, this is what I was talking about when it's important to have a line item. Okay, so we actually, the very first thing that we did was we entered specialists. So if I wanted to, I can actually pull the drop down menu and I can actually look it up myself. But for most cases, you're not going to look it up. You're going to just type it in and it's going to populate right here. And then if I do that, everything's going to fill in automatically for you. So again, we already marked that the specialist was it's going to cost you $125. So here we have a description for consulting, and it's going to calculate this tax for you as a service tax. And what's going to happen is down at the bottom of the invoice, it's going to calculate you the total quantity times the 125. It's going to automatically calculate it for you right here. And it's going to tell you that Tim owes you a total of $500. So see how quick and easy and simple adding all these components ahead of time is going to make this much easier for you. Okay? And then let's see what else it asks. So then it says, I guess it's going to say print and save. And then it's going to ask you to print the invoice when prompted, save and close, and then print the item list. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, make sure that at the top of the window, I'm going to say I'm going to print it later. Reason being for is, if when we're in class, you don't have a printer. Here, I'm not in my home, so I'm not going to print out stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and print it later. So I'm going to save and close. And it's gonna ask us pop-up window. I'm like, yes, okay. So if you have sound, you should get a beep of approval, okay, that the transaction is done and complete. Now what's gonna happen, it's gonna ask you to print out the items list. So again, you can go to here, you can go to items list, and at the top of the window, you should have the print button available on here for you. If not, a place where you can go is you're going to go to File, and you're going to click Print Forms. Now, it's going to give you a list of what you want to print. And if we want to print lists, then we're going to print lists. We can print labels. You can do paychecks. You can do pay stubs. So there's a lot of things that you can print. So I want to print an invoice, right? Because that was one of the things that we were going to be requested for. So what's going to happen is because I selected to print it later, I don't actually have to go back to the invoice and select print. What I can do is I can come here. I already selected to print later. And what's going to happen is it's going to ask you to go ahead and look at what you have. And here we have our invoice for 2020 for Mr. Fang. And I'm going to go ahead and click print. But because for this occasion, we won't print. Okay. And this is the items list. Let me see. You should be able to print this item list. Let me see. So we'll go to File, and we're going to go to Print Forms. Oh, I'm sorry, Print List. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and select that. And then it's going to say, okay, don't show this again. Okay. And then it's going to give you a box of exactly what list you want to print. So we're going to select our printer. Okay. Do you want a portrait? Do you want a landscape? However you want the paper arrangement to be in. And then do you want to do all pages or just specific pages? Blah, blah, blah. So again, this is where we want to print our list because we have it available right here. This is what we want. I want to print my list. So what you can do is you're going to press OK once you figure out how you want to print it out. And I'm not going to print it. I don't have my printer at home. So if you want to just print the list, you just go to File and File, Print List. Okay. Make sure you have it displayed though. That's very important. But you should also be able to print it just directly off of this list right here. But I don't see it. All right. Okay. And I think that's it for this thing. Yep. So we're done with problem 1. Okay. So, again, if you'd like, we are pretty much done for the day. As promised, well, with an additional 15 minutes, as promised, you guys are free to go unless you have any other questions in regards to chapter 7. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and